happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. So we got another huge update. You guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely going to want to check this one out, as we're witnessing things turning ugly very quickly for the View host Anna Navarro after she just walked into this political knife fight unarmed against the CNN superstar Scott Jennings. Guys, I'm excited to get into it. So we're not straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's jump straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
It's practically every Republican nominee and precedent in my lifetime here. And you've always been a free trader and anti-tariff. So, you know, I hear you kind of like trying to navigate not condemning this, but like so many other Republicans, including people like Marco Rubio and others in the Senate and in Congress, who are now bending themselves into pretzel shapes. I mean, it's like this sudden change that's a little hard for me to understand. Yeah. I also look. This week, I think, has been a disaster, and part of it is because they well, the messaging has been bad. Right. It's been all over the place, and there's been a lot of conflict within the administration, but also the policy is bad. And what the math they based it on, according to mathematicians who have looked at the formula that they printed out on a big poster and put out, is wrong. They've imposed tariffs on penguins. They haven't imposed tariffs on Russia. I mean, it has made absolutely no sense. And when you hear people who loved Donald Trump, supported Donald Trump, gave him money, people like Ken Langone, Home Depot, people like Bill Ackman, people who have gone, gotten into fights for months.
Can we correct the Russian thing? Because Scott, we're not trading with Russia. They have sanctions.
We do $3.5 billion.
We have sanctions on Russia.
Yeah, but I know
North Korea.
The number is not zero. What we do with Russia, the number is zero on the island with the penguins.
Yeah, we trade more with Russia than we do with Herd and McDonald's.
Isn't the issue with the islands is that China can use those small countries as a possible?
The island doesn't have any humans on it.
Also, these penguins, they dress like elitists. They had it coming. I just want to point out.
I mean, I don't think. I don't
think. I'm just saying.
Well, I don't think.
I think the Russian thing's been overstated.
I don't think that you throw zero tariffs on Russia and then massive tariffs on other countries that are basically doing almost no trade with the United States.
I think that there is something to what you say. I don't think this has been handled that well, and you're right. The markets have reacted pretty ferociously against this. But I will say this.
And the math has been erroneous. The mathematical formula.
Scott made an important point just a few minutes ago. This is the new Republican Party, whether you like it or not. I mean, Trump won because he won blue-collar union voters, and he and the Republicans view that as the base of the party now. And it's different. It's different than when Reagan won, where it was mostly wealthy people. Now the wealthy people vote Democratic, and middle-class people are generally voting Republican. And so this is a policy position that's actually fairly popular with Americans. You're right. I'm a free trader.
Which part, Scott? I'm sorry, Steve. Which part do you think is popular? Because I don't think that's true.
Well, let me just say this. Even though Trump knows I'm a free trade guy, and he knows that I oftentimes oppose these policies, he still calls on me. He likes to get different opinions from different people. And in the end of the day, I'm going to predict this has been a rough period, no question. But Trump is a winner. He's a master negotiator. I think at the end of the day, you're going to have these countries calling him up on the phone one by one and making a deal with them. It's going to be good for
What's going to happen to the U.S. economy in the meantime, Chairman?
Stephen made the point talking about working class voters, and now the Republican Party is more multiracial and working class compared to years before. And when you look at it from the perspective of people in the Rust Belt, what have they seen since the early 90s as a result of free trade? 5 million jobs over 2 decades eliminated. 90 good-paying manufacturing jobs, by the way. 90,000 factories closed. That's an estimate. Then you move forward to the early 2000s, increased imports with China, known as the China shock. You're aware of this, Stephen. You've written about it. That also eliminated 2 million additional jobs. So you're talking about over 2.5 decades, about 7 to 10 million jobs eliminated. Good-paying jobs for blue-collar people. They completely feel ignored. They completely feel forgotten. And so Donald Trump focusing on trying to level set, to your point, and bring back some level of manufacturing, even if it's modernized, not going back to the 80s or 90s, I think is a good thing.
Even if it's robots?
It could potentially benefit those working class
even
people.
If it's robots? I mean, if it's robots doing these jobs, then what's the point?
Abby, chip manufacturing, you got to bring some of that back to the United States.
I know, I get that.
We're not at a place where machines can repair themselves when they're damaged. You need to have a skilled workforce being able to take care of those things.
But do you understand my point, Michael, is that we are increasingly about to be in an economy where a lot of these jobs that he wants to bring back are not going to be done by humans. Maybe there will be one or two overseeing the robots, but they've acknowledged that. Besant and Howard Lutnick have both said that over the last few days.
Yeah, automation,
AI, robots are going to replace most humans in those jobs.
Yeah, so
what is the formula for manufacturing renaissance in that scenario?
Sure. That's a global issue. That's not just an issue that the United States singularly has to face. And I would say at some point we probably need to start preparing our workforce to be prepared for a modernized world. We haven't done that in 2 or 3 decades.
I guess the question is,
how does conversations about returning some jobs to people while we still can, I think is a positive thing.
I think that's fine.
What that obviates, what we're not talking about is the incredible pain that is going to be felt precisely by the blue collar people, right, who are going to go to the grocery store, because we're focusing on the markets and we're focusing on Stephen Portnoy having lost $20 million and the billions of dollars that Jeff Bezos has lost and Elon Musk and all of that. The thing is, these rich people can say don't panic and don't sell because they've got more millions that they can live off. But the person who's going to go buy the car, or the person who's buying clothing from China, or the person who's going to the grocery store and buying the bananas from Ecuador and the avocados from Mexico and the limes from Mexico, they're going to see that price increase tomorrow.
Isn't it the opposite though?
Let me just play. Hang on a second. Let me.
Do you understand that there are people in this country who cannot endure short-term pain?
Of course, but you know what? Let me just go through a couple points. In 1987, we talked about the S&P falling 10%. We've only seen this 4 times. In 1987, it occurred. We saw a bounce back of 102%. November 2008, a bounce back of 105%. In 2020, a bounce back of 94%. It recovers, and it recovers stronger than it was before. That is absolutely
sure, Michael. In none of those cases that you just cited is it a man-made crisis. This is created by one person. Donald Trump. This isn't COVID. This isn't a financial bubble. This is all manufactured, created, drummed up by this insane man who is our president.
Guys, Anna Navarro may be able to leave that set of view, but we're seeing now that she's not able to leave behind the bogus narratives and the fear mongering. She's once again saying that it's the big bad evil orange guy, even though we've seen in the past that our economy, it's rebounded every single time, bigger and better than ever. We've already seen that. I think we seen it yesterday. Went right back up, and everyone was okay. Maybe Donald Trump is on to something. Maybe our country does need this medicine. I'm gonna let her go on, guys. Check that. Let's see the rest.
Listen, Trump. You know, when you watch that little infighting that's going on, it reminds me of Abraham Lincoln and his team of rivals. He had people at the table who.
Peter Navarro and Elon Musk remind you of Abraham Lincoln.
Well, yeah, but okay. Elon Musk is probably the greatest.
I must defend Abraham Lincoln on this.
He's the greatest entrepreneur in world history. But I'm going to side on this one with Elon Musk. I mean, Elon Musk is right that tariffs or taxes, they can hurt the economy. We've got to have the most productive sector of the economy. But it's also true that Peter Navarro figuratively took a bullet for Donald Trump. He went to jail for Donald Trump, and that's an amazing act of heroism, in my opinion, to do that rather than rat on what the president said in secret meetings. So I have some admiration for Peter, and I think it's just perfectly fine that you have this infighting going on, and Trump ultimately will make the decision.
I didn't like that he was denigrating what is actually a really good American manufacturing success story.
Exactly.
The original insult was that Teslas are made of all these foreign components. In fact, Teslas are the most American-made car.
We have the chart. Yeah. I mean, to prove your point. I mean, they rank basically at the top on all these different metrics for domestic manufacturing. But Elon is still concerned about the tariffs.
So the administration is always talking about, hey, we got to make more stuff here. Let's make things in America. Let's have American-made, cars. Well, Elon is actually doing it, and then your guy goes out, Navarro, and craps all over him and lies about the fact that he's actually making cars in America.
And he's making EVs, and all the liberals.
If I were starting a business, I'm calling Elon. That's all I'm saying.
But what does it say to you that Elon Musk stands to benefit comparatively to his competitors, because he does make his cars here by and large, and he still thinks this is a stupid policy?
I mean, look, I think Elon is right to be concerned about supply chain disruptions, and there have been a lot of people, even even on the right that have begged the president to be more strategic in his targeting of tariffs, maybe focusing on key imports, or maybe having a greater focus on China in particular compared to the EU or some of our friendlier friends across the globe. And so in that regard, I think Elon is right. I get Navarro's points. I've watched a lot of his interviews on Fox News talking about how he really wants to focus on taking care of blue-collar workers. I don't think you're going to find anybody who would disagree with that, but I do think we have to be careful with how long this pain lasts, because something you said, Anna, we certainly don't want 8 months, 9 months down the line, we're already in a fragile economic condition. What would that toll be on working class people? Probably not great. So I would probably side on the behest of Elon Musk if I were President Trump.
Okay, so Peter Navarro was loyal to Donald Trump. Okay, then send him as an ambassador to Lesotho, maybe to the herd at McDonald Islands to go be with the penguins. That would be a great place for him to go. Look, I think the only person that can get away with this kind of infighting, public infighting like this, is Elon Musk. I can't imagine Donald Trump and the White House being okay with Pete Hegseth and Marco Rubio lobbying insults the way that these two have been doing all day. And it contributes to the lack of consumer confidence. It contributes to the confusion. It contributes to the conflicting messaging. But at the end of the day, Peter Navarro is espousing the positions that Donald Trump holds. Donald Trump has been talking about tariffs for 30 plus years. And so in a way, it's almost Elon Musk insulting Peter Navarro, because he can't insult.
That's a very good point.
Dumber than a bag of bricks.
The other person, Sheila,
and then apologize to the bricks,
who is getting caught.
Yo, there we have it, guys. Glad we've got Scott Jennings to bring these folks back to reality a bit. It seems like they just can't get enough bashing Donald Trump, bashing Elon Musk, especially that Anna Navarro. The craziest part for me is the fact that they were so big and high up on Elon Musk when he was in support of the Democratic Party, because we can't forget, I mean, Elon was a Democrat at heart, and then he got pushed away by their far left radicalness. I mean, you guys drove this man away, and now you're hating on him for going where it's common sense. And it truly amazes me that they just don't understand what Donald Trump is doing. He said he's been so transparent, open, and honest about his mission, bringing back free and fair trade within the United States, because we've been seeing ourselves getting the raw end of the stick every single time. For how long? You know, how long are we supposed to be the pushovers, or oh, we just let people get over on us and we don't look to get even? No, we need to start having a backbone, actually stand up for ourselves. That's what true leadership does. Donald Trump has told us before that it's going to be a little bitter at first, but the results, the outcome of what we're doing right now will be far greater than anything we've suffered. You know what I mean? And that just makes the most sense to me. And the analogy that stuck with me the most was the bitter medicine that you have to take when you're sick. It's very hard to swallow. It's tough to go down. You hate it every step of the way. But then a couple days later, after the medicine keeps going in you, it starts to work. You start to feel 100% better. You're back to your old self. Sometimes you're even better. And that's what we're seeing be carried out by Donald Trump right now, guys. Definitely hop in that comment section. No, comments are open. Excited to hear what you guys are thinking. Also, make sure you guys hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you did enjoy more content like this, catch y'all in the next week.